It's been almost a year.
Today we're going to share our reflections and some of our favorite moments from our walk on the Camino de Santiago. Hey there, Wanderers! Today we are going to talk about the Camino de Santiago. So almost a year ago this month, we made the decision to walk the Camino de Santiago. And then in February of 2018, we actually decided to start this YouTube channel. Predominantly at that time, it was to document our experience on the Camino. We walked the Camino in April and May of 2018. And since that time, we have gotten lots of questions from our viewers and our friends. So we wanted to take the time to discuss those with you today.
So in past videos, we have covered, how to pack, what to pack kind of deal. These questions of what we took away from the Camino, what we learned from the Camino are a bit more difficult to answer. And we're just now releasing this video because it takes a while to process.
Yeah, it requires a lot of processing time to kind of... It's a whirlwind. It like passes by quickly and it's just crazy.
So before we get into it, if you haven't subscribed to our channel as of yet, now's a great time to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the little bell to get a notification anytime we release a new episode.
All right, so let's talk Camino. All right, so probably the most logical place to start is why even walk a Camino de Santiago in the first place. So the Camino is an old pilgrimage route and people originally walked it for religious purposes. People nowadays walk it for religion, spiritual reasons, recreational reasons. Some people just have a lot of stress and stuff going on in their lives and they need some time away to think about everything.
So we kind of fell into the recreational walkers on the Camino, hikers, whatever you want to call us, pilgrims. We don't talk a lot about our jobs as ER nurses. It's stressful. We deal with a lot of trauma, a lot of death. It's very commonplace. And we kind of transitioned from recreational walkers to...
we needed some time to get away from everything, to think about stuff. We travel and we work across the country. We just finished a very, very hard assignment that was just tons and tons of stress, and we just felt like it was the perfect opportunity. We had the right amount of time off. Everything just kind of lined up. We needed to get away for a while, so why not walk the Camino de Santiago? So as we said before, some of the most common questions that we've gotten about the Camino is, what did you learn on the Camino? What did you take away from the Camino? And we think to answer those questions, the best way is to share some of our favorite moments from the Camino because they really represent what we took away and how we felt about the whole experience.
So one of our first favorite moments that we're going to mention is staying at San Juan Bautista in Granion.
So Granion's actually a really cool little town. Try and stop there if you can. We got into town early. It was a very short day. And so we headed across the street after we checked into the albergue. And we hung out at My Way Cafe. And we met some Irishmen there that were spending the day drinking.
They were actually... So the funny thing is that they're actually two Irish physicians. Mm-hmm. Somebody that actually two people that could really relate to us on the trail as far as being in the medical field and kind of getting stressed out and being burnt out.
Yeah, so it was really great talking with them. We sat down, we had lots of drinks, we talked medical stuff and all kinds of stuff, just hanging out with them for hours during the day. And so it allowed us to relax. I think up to that point on the Camino, we were set on, we got to get to Santiago.
Santiago was the whole purpose of the trip, was you get to Santiago. I think that's the day that we kind of learned that, it's okay to kick back and relax and have some fun and, enjoy the walk. And one more thing is that, being in the medical field, that we weren't alone in our thoughts and feelings and burnout as well. So
yeah, and the little albergue there at San Juan Bautista, it is actually in the bell tower of the church. It is probably the coolest albergue experience that we had the entire way. The simplest accommodations. We actually slept on mats on the floor. The meal was made by the hospitaleras, and it was one of the best meals we had. There's just a really great vibe, and everybody's just happy there, and like there's just lots of positive energy, and it was just a really great place. So another moment that we absolutely loved was coming up on this little ermita. It was called Amido De San Miguel, and it was right outside of Estella, maybe 4 or 5 kilometers outside of where we were stopping for the night, and it was just a really cool little place.
So this church is completely abandoned. It has, all that's left is basically the building and the door and the altar. So we did our Camino in April, so it was really the early beginnings of Camino season. So this church is well known for pilgrims putting prayers, wishes, thoughts. They write them down and they put them all around the church and altar. There wasn't too much about that, but the feeling of this old church was just absolutely incredible. When people talk about the Camino, a lot of people think about these huge cathedrals and these, massive churches, but just this small, tiny little church, and thinking how many people have prayed, dreamed, hoped. It just felt really special to me. So our next favorite moment is when we met up with the Veterans on the Camino.
So Veterans on the Camino is a nonprofit organization that is ran by Brad. Brad has walked several Caminos himself and decided to start this organization to help veterans, not just from the United States, but all over the world. A lot of them have post-traumatic stress or trying to reassimilate into normal society after being in the military.
That really hit close to home.
Yeah.
With us both being veterans, assimilating back into the civilian world, it can be difficult.
Yeah. So really, really fantastic organization, awesome people. The veterans that he had out there with him this year were Polish veterans, there's some American veterans, French Foreign Legion, just amazing people, an amazing organization. We're actually going to leave a link to them, their Facebook and their website down below. They just selected their 6 veterans that are going to be walking the Camino with him this year. You can go there. They're starting to post profiles. You can check them out. If it's something that you find interesting or maybe dear to your heart, a great place to donate and to maybe help them out for this year and future years to help get veterans out there. The veterans he takes don't pay a dime. He gives them their backpack, their boots,
Airfare.
the airfare. They have like a certain amount of money that they can spend each day for their food and their housing.
He normally does a vlog every day or so from the Camino, so yeah. It's a really good place to source information and just follow the journey of these veterans who are really kind of
just trying to find their way again. So really, really great. So we highly suggest you check them out and support them if you can. So our next kind of favorite moment, or one of our most memorable moments, is the day we were leaving Carrion de los Condes, and we were about to begin one of the longest stretches on the Camino with no services, very exposed area. It was like 17 kilometers, no water, there's like no restaurants, nothing like that. And a lot of people say it's one of the harder areas to go through just because
it's flat, it's boring, and it's long.
So we were actually, there's a roundabout right before you start this long section, and Jed was getting some film of like a statue in the middle of the roundabout, and we kind of we turned around and we looked back, and there were our friends Benson and Kate that we had met a little bit earlier on our trip a couple times, and just waving, and we actually walked that portion with them.
So we hadn't really struck up a conversation with them. The funny thing is that on it was one of the days, it was absolutely just drenched and pouring. They took a shortcut through a field, and they were waving us on to take this shortcut. We actually ended up going through the puddle because the field kind of looked kind
like,
of...
We were like, what are these people doing up there? And that was the first time we'd ever saw them. And then that night, we actually ended up eating dinner at the same place. So we had actually chatted with them a little bit. They're from Australia. And then after that, we'd maybe seen them like a few places. Like we saw them in Burgos. Nothing long. We didn't really hang out with them that long. And then this day came up, and we walked with them and talked with them for that whole 17 kilometers. And
it was amazing.
It was amazing. And it was the quickest 7 kilometers. Me and Kate were like talking, and we hear Jed and Benson just back there laughing like they're like 2 peas in a pod.
So you really get close to people really quickly on the Camino. Benson and Kate, I really hope you're watching. You guys were definitely a highlight of our Camino.
Yeah, the Camino provides. It gives you what you need. And that day, we needed Benson and Kate.
This one is kind of a double-edged sword. Kind of a favorite moment and kind of not a favorite moment at the same time was actually walking into Santiago.
So I know you probably think that's crazy. I mean, after all, Santiago is the goal, right? That's where everybody is trying to reach. But it's a really, it's an exciting moment, but it's also a really sad moment to realize that, your 800 kilometer, 500 mile trek is coming to an end, and it's over. Like, we still sometimes don't feel like we walked the Camino de Santiago. Like, we're like, did we actually do that? And we really just don't feel like we did. And I guess this is where we learn that Camino's not, or the Santiago's not the goal.
No, it's the Camino is everything between wherever you start and Santiago, and it's your collection of experiences. So
you get some people you think of Santiago, it's over, but Santiago is really where it starts. It's where you you realize that it was about everything that you went through on the way, and all those things, and what you can take back to your everyday life. So it's it's the journey, not the destination.
Sounds a little cliche, but that's absolutely the truth. It's absolutely the truth. So we actually wandered around in Santiago for the next 3 days, kind of trying to process everything that we experienced, the people that we met. So it was kind of, I guess, a reflective time, even though the entire Camino is kind of a reflective time, but it was an interesting time to look back at the Camino itself and kind of pull together your experiences.
Yeah. So those were 5 of our favorite moments from the Camino. By far, is that not, every moment that we had. But those are just some of the things that really just stand out in our mind as we looked back on our trip, and some of the things that are most vivid in our memories. So I guess now it's a good time to summarize. What did we learn? So from Granion, I guess what we learned is that it's okay to take a break, and it's okay to laugh and to have fun.
And I know that there's a cliche out there or a saying out there saying that it's okay to not be okay. And that's kind of what I learned from, the Irish doctors that we met. And
there are other people out there that are going maybe not through the exact same thing, but similar things to you that you can rely on, and you can, let go with and share your experiences, and, just getting things out and sharing is just so helpful.
And those people going through the same thing can actually be the ones that help pull you out of that hole, out of that dark spot in your life.
So what the Ermita, or the little Amido De San Miguel, taught us was...
it's no matter what you believe, sometimes, if you believe in prayer or you don't believe in prayer, sometimes just writing it down or just kind of throwing it out there in the universe can make a huge difference on how you look at it and how you feel about things.
So, like the people who like journaling and writing stuff down or whatever, I mean, there's something to be said about it because, just stopping in that little place, taking in that small little environment and like writing down what you were thinking at that time and then just letting it go. Maybe that's it. Sometimes you just gotta let things go. So, veterans on the Camino, what did we learn from meeting these guys? Well, one is that it's a small world, and it doesn't matter what country you're from, what you believe, we all go through similar things. We all have similar experiences. It may be changed by where we live or what our religion is, but
things that we've been through in life.
Yeah, but in the end, we're all human beings, and we all have struggles that we go through, and it helps to find people that are going through the same struggles and
to help them out.
Yeah. And like also is to help others. Like what Brad does to help these guys and try to to help them out is an amazing thing, and I think he's found a lot of purpose in doing that. As a veteran himself, I think it's helped him reassimilate and get back to where he should be, and he finds just a lot of joy in helping these guys or girls out. So help people. Don't be afraid to give a helping hand. It doesn't matter if it's the smallest little thing,
And if you're broken, reach out. You don't have to stay broken. I mean, veterans are never 100% the same after their experiences, but I think they find new purpose, brotherhood, sisterhood on the Camino, which, they sorely miss after leaving the military. So definitely kudos to Brad and veterans on the Camino.
So yeah, thanks Brad for all you do to help them out.
So what we learned from Benson and Kate.
And all the other awesome people that we met on the Camino is to surround yourself with people that make life easier.
And make you happy.
Yeah. So we have that choice. We choose who we walk with in life. So just surround yourself with people that make you happy, that make the day a breeze and go by, whether in your personal life, at work, whatever. Don't hang out with the downers.
So I'm not a hugger, but I actually hugged one of the people that we met on the Camino after not seeing him for a week or more.
I don't know, probably more than that.
It's probably more than that. And it was just, you connect with people so quickly on the Camino, and it was just an overwhelming joy to see him again, and it was weird. It was like an instinct to go and hug him. I think it was a little awkward for us both, but I mean, good times.
Yeah, the crazy thing is like the connections you make with people on the Camino are sometimes stronger within a couple weeks than a lot of the connections you have with your friends and family back home. I mean, sometimes you walk days in and out with these people, and
you get to know them really well.
Yeah. So, enjoy the people. So last but certainly not least is what we learned from arriving in Santiago, and that is definitely that it's not about the destination. It's not about reaching Santiago. It's about enjoying the entire journey. Enjoy every single step, every single moment, every single person you meet along the way. If you are just solely focused on getting there, then you miss all that stuff. And even after you arrive, it continues on. You have to learn how to take, all these experiences and continue on with them in your day-to-day life.
True. I mean, you can continue out onto the coast. One of the important things that I learned from reaching Santiago is that I'm not done with the Camino yet. So I can't say this for certain, but I definitely see another Camino in our future. I think it's a great way to just kind of take pause and really kind of take stock of your life.
I really think that's why when you hear people who have walked the Camino, you hear they want to do another Camino, whether it's the Portuguese or the Del Norte or another Frances. Most of us want to do it again, and I think it's because you get to get up in the morning, you get to eat breakfast, you walk. You eat lunch, you walk. You eat dinner, you sleep, you shower. Well, maybe shower before you sleep. But, you know, it's just, you can just concentrate on the basics, and, you know, it gives you a lot of time to think and to just be, and we don't want to get too philosophical here.
No. So I really hope this video helped you out, whether you're planning on doing a Camino or was just curious about what the Camino de Santiago was all about.
Yeah, and I hope it made sense, because, you know, sometimes it's really hard to you know, like, what did I learn, or what did I take away from this? And, you know, those are the basic things, and we still kind of think about it and learn from it all the time.
Our intentions were to actually make this video a long time ago, but it's one of those experiences where you really kind of have to let it ruminate in your mind for a good while to even describe what a Camino is and what it feels like.
So go ahead and leave us some comments. Do any of you that have done a Camino, do you feel this way? Do you feel like it's just really hard to put into words sometimes? Tell us what your thoughts and your experiences were. If you're planning a Camino, let us know what you thought of this, if you found it helpful at all. And make sure you check out all of our Camino videos. We have a packing list video. We even have a Cats on the Camino video that you'll want to check out. But,
and we did do a video for every day on the Camino. We weren't quite up to the vlogging point that we are now, so it was...
We were brand new vloggers at the time, so they're not the greatest. So, but you know, you get an idea, and we actually really enjoyed making them, and we've probably watched them
more than we should,
like 50 times, or like every day.
All right, Wanderers. That's going to do it for now. And until next time, stay wonderful.